Have you ever wondered what really hides behind a perfect smile and a glamorous life? What if I told you that beauty can be a curse, leading to choices that shatter everything? Stick around because this tale of love, betrayal, and shocking twists will keep you hooked. You won't believe how one birthday party flipped my world upside down. Folks usually believe pretty women have it all figured out with zero worries, but they overlook the scary worry hiding deep inside. The endless fear of turning plain, of getting replaced in a snap, of just disappearing. That fear held me in its claws. It wrecked me for good. Right above, fancy lights sparkled like a bunch of tiny stars, shining on my fancy red dress. The same one Jimmy gave me as a Christmas present last year. In those early days, I convinced myself I'd wed a guy full of promise, someone I could mold into greatness, a partner who truly cherished me. But now, he just stood as a symbol of all that was missing in my world. We were marking my birthday at the upscale Crystal Room, the sort of spot where menus skip the prices altogether and a bad choice of footwear could shatter your image. My circle of friends chatted and chuckled, enjoying sips of that pricey $300 champagne, all while crafting those picture-perfect moments we shared on social media. And there was Jimmy. Jimmy just sat quietly as if he didn't quite fit in. His outfits lacked that high-end label flair. His self-assurance wasn't bold or flashy. He hadn't mastered the art of fitting into this glamorous scene. I'd figured I could transform him over time. Instead, resentment built up inside me. "Jimmy, darling," I called over, injecting fake warmth into a tone laced with frustration. "Share with the group about that exciting promotion of yours." He tensed up, his gaze shifting uneasily. There was no promotion to speak of. Goodness, he seemed so lost. I let out a laugh, a sharp, fragile chime. "Oh, that's correct. He's still holding down that maintenance supervisor role." My friends tittered along. They weren't mean-spirited, not deep down. In our circle, poking at insecurities passed as light fun. To thrive here, you had to stay on top. If I didn't keep the laughs coming, they'd pivot and target me next. Gina flashed a sly grin. "Hey, not everybody's cut out for success like Chase." Chase Larkin, the ideal escape. He came from wealth, never faced a real hardship. Flawless hair, impeccable smile, that knowing smirk, and oh, such irresistible allure. He raised his glass toward Jimmy with feigned pity. "Here's to good, honest labor." More chuckles erupted. Harper captured every bit on her phone for those Instagram stories. That was my crew. That summed up the vibe of my universe. Never reveal any vulnerability. But Jimmy's quiet demeanor irked me deeply. Why wouldn't he stand up for himself? Why couldn't he step up his game? "Just look at him," I said, plastering on a bright tone. So genuine and down to earth. A true soul amid all our pretenses. The group burst into even louder laughter. Perhaps if Jimmy had joined in the fun. Maybe if he'd gone along with the joke. Or if he'd put in some effort. But instead, he remained seated, eyes fixed downward on the table, allowing me to gradually torch whatever bond we had left. I hadn't always despised Jimmy. There was a time when I adored how he idolized me. The way his face lit up, like he couldn't fathom why I'd chosen him. How he handled me with such care, as if I were a rare treasure. Yet that worship dimmed over time. It turned routine, something I just expected without gratitude. The harsh reality? Jimmy had started to bore me utterly. Chase, on the other hand, sparked excitement. He burst into our existence with bold assurance and what appeared to be endless funds. He made me sense that I truly fit into this elite realm I'd been faking my way through. Sure, I slipped up sometimes. Maybe I overstepped boundaries. Perhaps those thrills became a habit. But I had no plans to abandon Jimmy. Not at that point. Stability counted for a lot. Even so, I craved that rush of attention, the spark of adventure, the boost of affirmation, and Chase delivered it all in spades. When the bill arrived, $3,000 worth, Jimmy pulled out his card. His responsibility to handle. I planted a kiss on his cheek for show. See? He's got some uses after all. It was meant as a quip, I believe. He offered that faint, beaten-down grin and murmured happy birthday wishes. As we headed out, Chase accidentally knocked over a drink onto Jimmy's truck. I couldn't help but giggle. I know I shouldn't have found it funny, but it slipped out. That evening, I caught a ride with Gina. We kept the drinks flowing. I uploaded stories showcasing my fabulous birthday bash. Not a single text from Jimmy. No appreciation from him. Come morning, my phone buzzed nonstop with alerts, yet nothing from Jimmy. He'd vanished. I tried calling, no pickup. Sent messages, no response. Rang again and it went straight to voicemail. Hours passed before his text. At work. Working during my birthday weekend? He ought to have been pleading for pardon over his dullness. Later that day he returned home. I stood ready with armfuls of shopping bags, the luxury kind. But my card got rejected at Nordstrom. Utter embarrassment. What on earth did you do to our bank accounts? I demanded sharply. I transferred my funds, he replied. Your funds? We're supposed to be partners. All my spending was to maintain our image. You realize I don't keep separate money? I lashed out. Your job is to provide for me. He met my gaze with icy detachment. Why not hit up Chase for your shopping spree? My stomach twisted in alarm. What do you mean? He wordlessly passed me his phone. A picture of Chase and me. From a security cam in his factory's lot. Not some innocent chat. Not playful banter. Solid evidence. This isn't how it seems, I protested. It screams infidelity, he stated flatly. His stare held no pain, no surprise, just emptiness. You've embarrassed me, he went on softly. You've exploited me. You've deceived me. Panic squeezed me tight. You can't prove a thing, I muttered hastily. He arched a brow. Wrong move. Desperation hit me hard. Jimmy, hear me out. I gentled my tone, my expression, my whole demeanor. I love you. I've been distant lately, but I can turn things around. We can mend this. He stayed still. How much was the inheritance? I probed. He held my gaze, then looked away. It doesn't concern you. Of course it did. We were wed. His assets were mine too. We're in this together, I pleaded. Always have been. No, he countered. You had your alliances. I was just watching from the sidelines. Then he swung the door wide. Gather your belongings. You've got until tomorrow evening. I stood stunned. You can't kick me out of our home. It's not ours, he said evenly. Your name's absent from the title. Rage bubbled up darkly within. You don't know who you're messing with, I snarled. He regarded me as if seeing my true self at last. I stormed off, not to pack but to rethink, to plot, to safeguard what was rightfully mine. I refused to be discarded like trash. Not by Jimmy, not by anybody. If war was what he wanted, he'd just ignited it. I didn't head out that night to collect my things. I went to devise my comeback. Because when you're blessed with looks rather than influence, life boils down to pure survival. Beauty opens doors, until you're seen as a risk. And Jimmy had labeled me exactly that, a risk. At Gina's place, she handed me a pour of fine wine. So, she drawled, lounging back, what's the strategy with that pitiful yet loaded mister? I paused. Loaded? I hadn't spilled that detail. For once in ages, I clutched a secret that boosted my worth. He came into a massive inheritance, I confided softly. Factories, real estate, millions upon millions. Gina straightened instantly. Well, in that case, she said deliberately, you're not walking away from him. Not at this stage. I might not have options, I retorted. He ordered me to pack up. Gina chuckled. And when have you ever obeyed him? She had a point. If anything, I excelled at turning tables to my advantage. I wasn't about to surrender a grand home, a thriving business, and endless luxury just because my spouse grew a spine overnight. Not after everything I'd invested. My appearance, my prime years, my efforts. Do you grasp the toll of maintaining perfection? It demands it all. So, no way was I stepping aside. Not without claiming my share. But the following morning, chaos erupted. Harper uploaded a clip of Jimmy alone in a rundown bar, filmed on my birthday night. Her caption, when you figure out your wife's out of your league, face with tears of joy, #sadhubby, #know your worth. I snickered initially. Just playful ribbing. Jimmy had it coming. But the online crowd didn't join the amusement. They questioned what I'd done to crush my husband's spirit so visibly. Labeled me entitled, a fortune hunter, a beast. What in the world? This shattered the image I'd cultivated. I was the sophisticated spouse stuck with a lackluster guy, not the antagonist. I dialed Harper. Take down that post. Chill out, sweetie, she replied. It's boosting interactions big time. Interactions? The comments were tearing me apart. I had to reclaim the narrative, twist it around, repair the damage. I opted for a gentle post, a striking image of me appearing vulnerable yet optimistic. Caption: love isn't easy. Don't trust every online glimpse. Spot on. Heartfelt. Vague enough. Folks would rally to me once more. Or so I believed. The responses turned vicious. You're the cheater seeking pity. You shamed your own husband. Drop the ego, lady. Work on you, not your feed. How did they uncover this? Proof wasn't out there, was it? Then the killer blow, screenshots of chats between Gina and me, mocking Jimmy as our charity project, boasting how I could stray and he'd still foot the expenses. Ice ran through my veins. Gina, swear you didn't capture our messages. I didn't, she shot back. Somebody breached my account. Breached by whom? For what reason? Paige, Jimmy's tech-savvy cousin, that digital troublemaker. She'd taken over his online presence, crafting him as this relatable viral sensation. He was blowing up. I was the foe. The guy we'd ridiculed the day before transformed into a beloved figure. And I became the fool facing the flames. I rushed back to the house, geared for battle, only to discover the locks swapped out. My own place barring me. I pounded wildly until Jimmy appeared, composed and almost pleased. It's over, he declared. My attorney will reach out. You believe you can just swap me out? I sneered. Think you can handle my circle? His face stayed neutral. This isn't your circle any longer. He shut the door right in my face. I yearned to yell, to weep, to smash. But in a bind, I did my usual, hunted for a smarter escape. Chase greeted me at his door, bare-chested as ever, exuding strength and poise. What's wrong? He inquired, drawing me in. It all poured out, the shame, the leaked screens, the windfall, the barred entry. Chase's interest peaked at the fortune mention. 25 million, he echoed thoughtfully. Certain about that? Absolutely, I barked. And I'm still his spouse. He grinned. Then we'll ensure you remain so. How? He inched nearer. We grab whatever's possible. You earn that. Grab. I echoed. He gestured to his computer. I've got a contact who can paint Jimmy in a bad light. Your investigator relative already exposed our fling. We need to unearth more on him. I lack any dirt on him. So we just whip up some evidence. I locked eyes with him, stunned. Fake embezzlement charges, he laid it out plainly. Set him up as the bad guy. Paint him as a crook. Watch him crumble. Then you stroll off with your share, half of that 25 million. Oh man, I could already savor the sweet wind rushing through me. I paused for a second, doubt creeping in. But what if the plan flops? Chase gently held my face in his hands. Trust me, it'll succeed, because he's spineless and you're sharp as a blade. I sank right into his passionate kiss. This was the existence I'd always craved. Full of fire, strength, and drive. Not stained with oil from trucks and endless letdowns. We spent that whole night wide awake, scheming together. Stuff no married couple should ever dive into. But when you're tied to the wrong partner, that flips everything. The real storm hit 3 nights after that. Rain pounded down relentlessly, thunder booming like explosions, giving us the ideal shield. Chase steered us straight to the factory, Jimmy's factory. His inheritance, his biggest source of pride. I was set on wrecking it all. Maybe then he'd get a real taste of what true shame felt like. Chase gripped a sturdy crowbar. I clutched the flashlight, my fingers trembling a bit. Easy now, he whispered. Jimmy won't show his face here. He's way too timid for that. But honestly, Jimmy wasn't on my mind at that moment. All I could picture was the future I might still rescue. Lavish comforts, solid safety, genuine admiration from everyone. We snuck in without a hitch. The lock gave way like it was cheap junk. Once we hit the office area, I murmured softly, "This doesn't sit right with me." "What's not right?" Chase grumbled back. The way Jimmy tossed you aside like trash? And yeah, that hit home. He'd shamed me from the start. I earned so much more. I deserved a whole lot better. After about 40 tense minutes of Chase tinkering away at the computer, he let out a quiet swear. "This isn't clicking," he admitted. "Keep that beam steady." Then, out of nowhere, a voice echoed from behind. "Pulling an all-nighter?" I went rigid. Chase whipped around fast. There stood Jimmy in the doorway, wearing a tough hard hat. Harsh security beams glowing at his back. Fury blazing in his stare. My gut twisted into knots. "Jimmy, this is breaking and entering," he stated coldly. "Plus property destruction. And let's not forget corporate fraud. Quite the collection." "No way," I shot back desperately. "It's nothing like that." "Oh, it's precisely what it appears," he fired right back. I scrambled for something to say. Anything at all. But Jimmy tuned me out completely. Mick, that massive guy from the plant, sealed off our escape route. Paige stood there recording it all, grinning like she'd already claimed victory in a fight that was just kicking off. I parted my lips to yell, but Jimmy shut me down quick. "You broke into my place to tear apart my world, and now you've blown it." Everything within me crumbled to pieces. Chase bolted in a panic. Jimmy chased after him. Someone snatched my arm hard. Police swarmed the scene. Those handcuffs bit in chilly, unyielding metal mixed with pure terror. "Jimmy, come on," I pleaded. "We can sort this out. I really love you." He pierced me with a look straight to my core. "No. What you love is cash. You simply never realized I had plenty." Those words crushed me harder than any restraints. They hauled me out into the downpour. Water drenched my cheeks. Lights from sirens pulsed everywhere. I caught sight of Chase getting crammed into a squad car. We were both doomed. All due to Jimmy shedding his weakness. All from some stroke of luck on his side. All because I'd written him off too soon. Slumped in the rear of that cop vehicle, shivering as mascara streaked down, I swore to myself, this wouldn't mark my finish. I refused to forfeit it all to someone like him. If war was on, I'd come back swinging with everything I had, because losing wasn't in my makeup. I was wired for endurance. The storm battered the police car's glass like nails driving into the grave of my former existence. Wrists bound tight. My image in ruins. Eyes of the world glued to me. This mess was never meant for someone like me. Ladies of my caliber don't wind up caged in patrol cars. We snag wealthy spouses. We bask in stunning lifestyles. We come out on top. Yet that evening I turned into a felon. Jail turned out nothing like the films. No glowing signs or moody darkness. Only stark bright spaces, cold metal seats, and guards who couldn't care less about my high-fashion outfit. They stripped away my accessories, my device, my self-respect, and the worst part? No one showed up for me. Not Jimmy. Not my so-called pals. Not even Chase. Time dragged on until it sank in deep. I was utterly, achingly isolated. Come daylight, an attorney appeared, but not on my behalf. "For Mr. Larkin," she clarified as I grasped at hope. Chase got the rescue. I got emptiness. I quizzed the desk cop. "Has anybody checked in for me?" He didn't bother glancing up. Nope. That stung sharper than the bonds. Once bailed out, the trip back felt worse than lockdown. Each ping on my phone unleashed fresh horror. Hashtags blowing up. Hashtag charity case wife. Hashtag gold digger fail. Hashtag Savannah Callahan unmasked. Every remark sliced deep. She betrayed a decent guy, then tried to steal from him. Lock her up for good. Karma suits her perfectly. Her smug look begs for a slap. My flawless digital empire flipped into weapons aimed right at me. Gina attempted to soothe things. Give it a week, they'll move on. Drama fades quick. But her story defending me? Folks ripped into her next. Those captures, the whispers, the viciousness. Her crowd stopped chuckling. She wiped every trace of me from her feed, then cut me off entirely. In a flash, a bond rooted in fame crumbled, since I'd lost my shine. Harper. She ditched me on the spot, protecting her image, ignored my pleas completely. That's when it dawned, I never owned real friends, just fans. and fans flip loyalties the instant the star shifts. Jimmy emerged as their fresh idol. At least Chase stuck around, didn't he? Someone had to stand by me. I headed to his building, clinging to that slim hope like damp clothes. But his fancy BMW was gone. Buzzed his unit, no response. A lady puffing a cigarette outside snorted. Chasing the hotshot? He split early today. Where to? I pressed. She shrugged amid a puff of haze. Rumor has it Phoenix. Snagged a gig hawking vehicles. Ironic, right? The player gets played. My reality spun. Chase never cared for me. He chased chances, and I'd run dry. The court date rushed up. That hearing space felt frigid and barren, mirroring the verdict headed my way. Jimmy strode in, suited sharp and sleek, radiating authority and poise. Gone was the upkeep guy vibe. He carried himself like the owner of half the town. Me, I resembled a pauper. His counsel, Mara, laid it all bare. Infidelity, misuse of cards, plot to wreck the business, unlawful entry. Then she dropped those screenshots I'd hoped vanished for good. I could step out on him right in front and he'd keep covering my tabs. Why ditch a guy bankrolling the glamour? My very phrases turned lethal. The judge's gaze chilled to frost. Savannah Callahan, this union ends due to betrayal and harmful schemes. Betrayal. Harmful schemes. Terms that wipe away any positives from your past. No support payments awarded, no asset splits upheld. No cash flow, no residence, zilch. Chase had dubbed me clever once, but Jimmy masterminded the ultimate play. He bided time while I self-destructed. I inked the documents. My grip stayed steady. Numbness took over. Total void. Until Jimmy's final glance and words, delivered smooth as silk. You could have claimed it all. He turned and left, planting the harsh fact. I'd squandered the greatest gift I'd known. The post-divorce stretch blurred into endless shame. No job leads. My education useless. Digital rep poisoned. Even my look seemed faded, like lipstick smudged from tears. I settled into a dingy, shadowy flat with flaking walls. Bugs scurrying in the bath. Outlook on a trash heap. From rooftop bashes to garbage views. Fate's got a twisted laugh. I shot Jimmy a message once. Sorry. Silence in return. He pushed forward, backed by true allies. Rosa leading security. Mick as his right hand. Paige handling his online wizardry. His realm expanding. He boosted worker pay. Turned into a community star. Earned true esteem. Discovered his calling. Even met someone fresh. Spotted her in a news snap. A journalist, Jennifer. Lovely in an effortless way, authentic. The image caught Jimmy beaming wide, a real heartfelt grin. He'd never shown that with me. It tore me apart. One evening, I wandered to the river's brink, that same span where Chase and I once shared reckless chuckles over forbidden thrills. I gazed into the murky depths, not plotting a leap, just pondering how swiftly grace can slip away. One flawed notion, one bad call, one mismatched partner. And poof, you're the bad guy in every tale. I wept for the old me who once cherished Jimmy deeply. The young woman chasing joy, not prestige. The one who saw him as plenty. She vanished the instant I convinced myself I needed extra. Time rolled by. The web latched onto fresh dirt. My spotlight dimmed. But quiet hurt worse than backlash. Quiet signaled I'd faded away. So I kept lurking on Jimmy's updates, eyeing his triumphs, reliving the world I'd shattered. I stumbled upon a video of him leading a tour through the factory, holding his head high with real confidence as his employees clapped and rooted for him enthusiastically. Paige was right there capturing it all on camera, poking light-hearted fun at him in that playful way. Suddenly, Jennifer stepped in next to him, holding her microphone poised and ready. She asked about how his journey had shifted so dramatically. He broke into that warm smile I used to think was mine alone. Sometimes, he explained thoughtfully, you need to let go of the heavy stuff to truly see what was pulling you back. I quickly turned it off, picking up on his subtle dig right away. I was that burden he'd finally released, and once free from it, he truly took off and soared. Nowadays, I wake up every morning to the noisy arguments from neighbors echoing through those thin walls. I scroll endlessly through faded photos, Exotic trips, lively parties, our wedding celebration. Searching desperately for the exact point where pure joy twisted into selfish desire. Food just doesn't taste the same anymore. Nights drag on forever, feeling endless and heavy. Mirrors seem more unforgiving with each glance. This is the price I pay. Having to watch the man I once mocked and dismissed climb to heights I insisted he'd never reach on his own. And in those quiet, solitary times, I whisper a secret truth that Jimmy will never hear. I truly did love you, but sadly not with the depth to recognize your true worth until the rest of the world caught on. Life keeps moving ahead and old stories fade away for most people. But for me they stay sharp and vivid. I cling to them fiercely. Because when night falls, I relive that pivotal turn over and over. It all began at a festive party, and it left me completely lost and alone. If this story gripped you with its twists of betrayal and redemption, hit that like button to show your support, smash subscribe to Dark Infidelity Stories, 4 more chilling tales of love gone wrong, and share this with a friend who needs a reality check. Your engagement keeps these dark secrets coming.